Hello, everyone. You want to say hello, sister?
Hello.
It's Nicole and
Nicole.
I'm Nicole, Nicole, and this is Nicole, Necole, better known as Sister. We haven't done a video together in quite some time, and I've been getting a lot of, Sister, you famous. People want to see you. I've been getting a lot of requests for a sister video, and we just haven't had the time to. So I'm getting better about that with we're doing more videos, and I want to send a special shout out to Heidi. Thank you so much. We had a nice little powwow earlier, and she did a video about doing more videos. So I have to get myself on a video schedule, even if it's late at night after we've done like everything we need to do, and just get a video done. What you think?
Yeah.
You think so? And then you're home on Tuesdays and Thursdays and the weekend, right?
Yeah.
Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah.
Usually our weekends are busy. But at least either on Tuesday or Thursday, we can shoot a video. Do a little quick video. Okay, so now that that's out the way. Huh? What? Just do my video. You said something. What you say?
Am I going tomorrow?
Yeah, you going tomorrow. What time you going? You a subscription? Okay, this is what we're talking about now. She goes to workshop 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And she's now a subscription writer, which means I don't have to call every other day in order to have her go to workshop the next day. So you're a subscription writer. I don't have to call in the mornings now. They already have you listed because you go at the same times every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And they will pick you up at 8:30.
Okay.
And they will pick you return trip 2:45.
Okay.
You got it? Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
No.
Okay. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about this time is normally I don't complain too much. If there is anything going on or anything to complain about, hey, take care of it, nip it in the bud, whatever. However, not this past weekend, but maybe 2 or 3 weekends ago, we went to Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, and for a BMX, what was it? Which national? The bluegrass. Okay, for the bluegrass racing, because my son's race. My son and my husband races BMX, and it's other videos that I have where you can see that. But anyway, they race BMX, so we were there. And the weather was nice. It was nicer than it was here, because that weekend it was freezing here, but it was like the 60s there. So that was like summertime. Anyway, we get to the hotel. I didn't make the reservations. Normally, my husband does that for the hotel. So somewhere in between the transfers of things happening, we had an initial place to stay. That hotel dropped out as the host for the BMX Nationals for the hotels, and they transferred it somewhere else. Anyway, someone dropped the ball somewhere and did not state that we have a physically challenged person with us. So when the next hotel was booked, it was booked on the second floor of the hotel, and that hotel did not have an elevator. Now, as you can see, Nicole here, and she's a 26-year-old woman. I'm already lifting her. We're already lifting her. If we can have very short lifts, that's fine. But to have to carry her up a flight of stairs with a wheelchair is so unacceptable. So I was highly upset because I don't know who dropped the ball where, but all I know is I didn't want my daughter dropped. That has happened before and it was not good. So we had to do what we needed to do and carry her up the stairs and then come back. Well, no, we didn't take the wheelchair, did we? We didn't take the wheelchair because it was right. We left it in the van because it was like very late. I want to say maybe 1 o'clock in the morning. So we just carried her up the stairs and then, of course, carried her back down the next morning. So we checked out of that hotel into another hotel. My thoughts were that we were going to another hotel that had an elevator and or a room on the first floor. This hotel had 2 floors as well, no elevator. Our room was booked on the second floor again. So this time she had to be carried up the stairs in her wheelchair and down the stairs in her wheelchair. Yes, there were men that carried her up the stairs the first time. The second time that we had to take her down that next morning, we took out the chair, carried the chair down, and then carried her down. Now, I used to do that back in the day when I was, 19, 20? And she was about 6 years old. And she didn't weigh as much. And I lived on the first floor of an apartment where you went down a few stairs. Then I moved upstairs to the 3rd floor of that apartment building. And, I had to do what I had to do. I had a lot of more energy at that time. And she was younger and smaller. Didn't weigh she wasn't as heavy. But like I said, me being, almost 40, and she's 26, and by this being a business, a hotel, you have 2 floors, it's possible that you may have a physically challenged person in a wheelchair stay at your hotel. Why doesn't this hotel have an elevator? Yes, it's 2 floors, but why doesn't this hotel have an elevator? And I think what I'm going to do is create a series of videos about things that happens that like this. These are the challenges that we face, being the physically challenged, and then the parents and or caretakers of the physically challenged. We have to do a lot of advocating for our disabled children, or if we're the caretaker, it could be our parents. Like recently, the day after Christmas, my mother, she fell down her stairs, not a lot of stairs, but it was like her back porch, and then there was like a stoop. She kind of misstepped, and then she fell and she broke her ankle. So she's in a little boot right now. But you know, at first, like afterwards, that she was the wheelchair she was in, and places she had to go and things like that. And my mother's a mover and a shaker, so this is totally out of her realm to be in a wheelchair and walking around in a boot and on a cane and things like that. And I had to take her to a meeting, and you know, it's stuff that I deal with all the time, of course, but it was her first experience with this. It's like step into our world to see what happens on the regular basis. And you know, you're trying to get into this building. This building has stairs. You know, when it's a public place, there are I guess for the city codes, they have to be handicap accessible. But what you find is that in order to meet those city codes and statutes, they just throw things up and say, oh yeah, well, we have a ramp or an entrance or elevator or whatever for, you know, for the handicap, for the physically challenged, but they're not conducive at all. My mother had to come up the ramp. This ramp was like, oh my gosh. And then once we got up the ramp, and the place, the door that you had to walk into, it was like it was a closet. And it was stuff that was in the closet. And then you had to go through this other little door, and in front of it was something else, whatever it was. And you know, and she's in a wheelchair and her foot is out. And I'm like, I don't know who this is for, but it's not for a disabled person, because you can't get, like, nothing should be in the way. I mean, the clearance, there should be a clearance, there should be clear space, and none of that was there. So even, you know, a lot of these places that have it to where they're doing these things for the codes, because they have to meet the city codes or ordinances for being handicap accessible. They're still they're really not. They're thrown together just to meet that code or that standard, but it does not help the physically challenged person, or you know, the one that's disabled temporarily. It doesn't at all. The stairs, and then, oh my gosh, what else do we have to deal with? People not shoveling and putting salt down and having rails. It's a lot. So, anything you want to say or add? No, you sure? You still, she's doing her music therapy right now. She's been singing all day, really. You sure? Anything you can think about? Not at all. No. Did I say a mouthful? Yeah. So I said everything that you wanted to say? Yeah. Okay. So that's the end of this particular video, and we will be doing another soon that would, I guess, get into more I don't know, details or something about just the life. The day in the life of Nicole, yeah. Sister, and what we deal with daily with just the challenges. You think? No? No. We could talk about that pace bus being late, huh? Yeah. Okay, so until next time, peace. You want to say peace? Peace.